Oh, okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 2018 Sonic Generations Relay Race. I am Dr. Fatbody. With me is Arjic and Alec47 on commentary. And on Team Sonic side, we have Dage4. And on Team and Knuckles, we have Niczur. We are going to be seeing Sonic Adventure DX Sonic Story be raced. And yeah, it's we have these two are both phenomenal runners. They are 1 and 2 respectively. They have multiple world records between them, and so this should definitely be a very close and electrifying race. Runners, do you guys have anything you'd like to say before the race starts?
Good luck, Niczur. This is going to be interesting.
Good luck.
All right, and from there, I will give you guys a countdown. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, and we'll start on a go. So, 3, 2, 1, and go. Good luck. And go.
All right, so starting off Sonic Adventure DX here, these guys are going to be thrown straight into a boss fight with Chaos Zero. So this guy has a little bit of manipulation in with him. So they're going to spin dash and hit him for the very first hit. Move immediately back to where he begins. Hit him a second time. Make sure to deliberately take damage from him to get him to respawn quickly. And then once he jumps up onto the lamppost, move away from him to one of the adjacent ones. That way he will jump down immediately. If you don't do any of those steps, he can do extra attacks that make it take forever. So really good manipulation from Dage there. Coming into the first action stage here, these are our levels. We have Emerald Ghost. You're going to see a number of spin dash jumps and chain spin dashing. The primary form of movement in this game will be chain spin dashing. The only time you don't want to spin dash is when you're going downhill. Other than that, you will be constantly alternating between the two spin dash buttons. So you can see Dage just making a light work at this level at the moment here. Niczur following close behind. Now, spin dash jumping is a special property where you will take the speed of a spin dash and apply it to a jump. That allows you to gain a good amount of distance. If you also combine that with any form of ramp, any form of slope or angle, you can get some insane distance and some insane height. As you can see Dage doing here, he's actually jumping over invisible walls instead of taking the intended route and just going straight through this level with no problem. Skipping all the loops as well, stopping his momentum in midair halfway through that loop there, because it's quicker for you to stop and then spin dash chain than it is to fly through the air, as that is significantly slower.
Yeah, you lose speed pretty quickly when you're in air, just like in a lot of Sonic games, but it's a bit more pronounced than a fair number of others in the 3D games, and in SADX in particular, I believe.
Yeah, so Dage going for early Crystal Ring there. What he did was he clipped himself out of bounds when he was down outside there, and then navigating on the tiny piece of land that he has, he did a spin dash jump around and over just to go into the Crystal Ring room. He then immediately clips out of the hotel into the area where Casinopolis is, and you can see making light work of this stage. You're meant to grab 400 rings, and then that gets rid of the invisible wall. Instead, you clip through the wall, do a spin dash hover, and then as you do the hover, you go underneath the stage and use the ramp from the coins that are there to grab the Chaos Emerald from underneath. So heading into the Mystic Ruins, they're going to head to...
A spin dash hover, by the way, just real quick, is where you kind of trick the game into keeping you from falling as quickly as it would normally make you fall. So it's used to extend your time in air, basically, and used to approach at the right angle to get underneath the area with the emerald.
Yeah, it lasts for 60 frames, so basically just a second of doing it, but you must land, and then that will allow the game to trigger another set of 60 frames. You can't constantly chain that without actually being on the ground and retrying. But what you just saw there, a quick kill on Egg Hornet. If he dives down, what you can then do with Sonic is quite literally just spam homing attack into him. He doesn't get back up, you get the 3 hits, and away you go. So now Dage with the Wind Key, taking it into the area to activate Windy Valley. And this is where you want to make, you'll see the spin dash chaining being replaced with just spin dashing away down the slopes. Casually just going through some walls there. There are certain walls where basically the walls line up together and you can just spin dash right through the seam. Walls as much of a joke as it is completely a suggestion in SADX here, and we use it to great effect in this run. So Dage making light work of the tornado there and coming down into Act 3. Doing a quick restart, because if you don't do the restart there, you're being thrown up into the air before you fall back down. Do the restart, skips that section and just puts you straight back down onto land. Missing the checkpoint there, so hopefully Dage will... Is he going for the big jump? He is. Straight jump over. Instead of taking the wind path here, he's going to do a spin dash jump over, skipping the automatic sections there, saving a good 5 seconds on that one. Then he's going to take a spin dash hover, making sure you avoid the loop, otherwise the game will do some tricky business on you. And then at the bottom of this hill, just jumping straight down, taking a leap of faith. It looks like he's going nowhere. He is actually just falling straight down towards where the capsule is going to be. Once you've played this game enough, you know exactly where you're going to land. Straight on there, finishing the level in a smooth 124.
Yeah, there's a lot of camera manipulation in this run in general, and Windy Valley is a good place to talk about where it comes into play. So a lot of the movement is based around not just where you need to go, but also what you need to do to make sure the camera behaves itself.
Yeah, the camera itself can get stuck on invisible walls and that at times, which is unfortunate. You can see there that Niczur, unfortunately, having to take a death as he accidentally hit a kill plane as he was too far over towards the left-hand side there. So he's going to have to redo this part of Windy Valley. Meanwhile, Dage, you'd be wondering why he's actually going down to get the lightspeed shoes, because you can finish the game without doing a single lightspeed dash. Unfortunately, it's a trigger within the game. It's a flag that will not allow you to advance the game until you have that item. So you have to go down and get it. It is also actually needed to do a lightspeed attack to get into Red Mountain. Otherwise, Red Mountain's loading zone is not active. But once you've done that, you can see he immediately skipped past Casinoopolis as he'd already finished the game. The game understood that and immediately activated the cutscene where he now has to go to Ice Cap. So Niczur, unfortunately, with that death costing him a little bit there, he's now going to have to try and catch up in some of the later stages here. We'll see how Dage does for Ice Cap. So Act 1, really quick Ice Cap here. We're just going to do a number of spin dashes. Jumping and using the momentum from the jump. You get enough height just skipping the entire stage here. Act 2, we switch to free camera. We do a jump and we just casually clip through the bridge. And once again, Act 3, you've got a seam that you're leaning against here, and you to get your angle just right, you can see it's bouncing him back there because he's not quite got it, and then finally it falls out. He then has to angle Sonic correctly. You can see just past the peak there of those mountains, and then he's constantly holding forward here as he will be falling down towards the emerald, but he has to dodge some kill planes. If you were not to hold forward, you wouldn't end up in the level, and if you're falling just in a random direction, you'll end up hitting some of these kill planes around. You can see part of the level loading down on the bottom left there, which is a very good sign that he is currently in the right location. Need to wait for the level to load underneath him here. You'll start to see the ramp coming up. You can see it just loading. The fact that you can see it loading means he's already past that kill plane. He just needs to angle himself now so he'll land inbounds, because if you try and land on any of the two edges there, you will just continue to fall past it, and then you'll have to restart the stage or take a death. So Niczur coming to the same thing. He got a much quicker clip, and you can see the different camera angle that he's got here. Yeah, this is because he's doing it in auto camera, but you can see the same thing is happening. He's just falling through the void. He's got to dodge the kill planes, and then hopefully he'll be able to land that as well.
Yeah, some tricks are much better with free camera, some are better with auto, some don't matter. Otherwise, you all know what to spam right now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So the only thing you need to worry about character fights there is you want to get 3 quick hits on them, but not too quickly, because if you hit a character on the frame that they are still vulnerable, you'll get what is known as a phantom hit, where you technically hit them, but it doesn't count, and you give them another set of invulnerability frames. And as much as we are oh-noing the meme at the moment, it is oh-no for Niczur, as unfortunately he hit the kill plane in Ice Cap Act 3, which means he's had to restart the stage, because when you respawn in Act 3, it respawns you on the board again, and depending on how quickly you can do Act 1 and 2, you're faster just reattempting the entire stage. you are skipping a significant amount of this snowboarding section. Like, you're skipping all of it, and it saves a good 2 minutes. But unfortunately, that is a massive time loss for him. Meanwhile, Dage on Chaos 4 here. So Chaos 4 can be manipulated as well. Sonic needs, I believe it's 6 hits, with the final hit requiring a little bit more manipulation. Chaos will move 3 times and then do an attack, move 3 times and then pop his head up for you to take damage against him. But what you want to do is, on the last hit that he's on here, he will move 3 times, do an attack, move 3 times, do an attack, move 3 times, and then pop his head up. And what you have to make sure is that you are in the air and a set distance away from him when he does an attack. Otherwise, he'll do an attack known as blue balls, where he will split into 4 blue balls and waste, I believe, about 10 to 15 seconds. Ideally, you want him to do the splash attack, as you've been seeing on Dage's screen there. And then we have the one of 2 wonderful auto-scrollers where you're just going to have to wait it out. We are in Sky Chase.
Meanwhile, on the other screen, oh no!
Oh no. So is Dage going to play, or is he just going to sit in the middle there? He's going for top left. So yeah, you don't actually have to do anything in Sky Chase at all here. You can play through it if you like, or you can just pick one of the 4 corners and just sit there. Personally, I'm a top right guy myself, so
That's a rather right-leaning left there. You said top left.
well, I meant right. Never mind. I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. But yeah, so you can see Niczur there Niczur doing the Chaos fight. He's already got 2 hits on there. He's going to hopefully get a blue ball this fight as well. We'll see how he does. So getting the tail swipe attack there. Not the quickest one. The quickest one is the splash attack, but certainly not the worst one. The 2 worst attacks are the tail swipe. If you're too close to him, he'll tail swipe you, and it takes a lot of time. Or when he splits up into the 4 blue balls. So he's about to do an attack. There's the quickest attack. That's the splash. So now he'll pop up. And we just got to wait for him to do the final set of 3 and see how it goes. So that's 1 splash, which is good. Give me another one of those. Thank you. Yep. I think that's going to be... I think that was a blue ball-less race.
Yep, neither of them got any blue balls, so that's good. I didn't notice any tail swipes either, but I've been kind of dividing my attention.
No, I don't believe they did, which is all good. Yep, so now Niczur will go into the Sky Chase as well, so we just gotta wait this part out. So coming up in some of the levels as well, as you're going to see more of the same that you've seen, plenty of clips and plenty of differently angled jumps. Again, we went over it quickly at the start there, but the way the jumps work, ideally you'll be doing a spin dash into most of your jumps. The spin dash gives you the speed, and the angle that you are jumping from can give you the height. Red Mountain is a prime example of a number of really good jumps that you'll be able to do throughout the game. So just the cutscene here where the tornado is getting shot down. And it's gone.
If you don't skip that cutscene, it's actually pretty hilarious.
But yeah, so now we're going to go find Amy.
This one are.
Oh yeah, like the cutscenes here, they're certainly something in this game, aren't they? Then again, who plays Sonic games for the story?
I know, right?
But no, so once you've triggered Amy there, she will follow you to Twinkle Park, and that is the next stage. So Dage here is hopefully going to go for 2 skips. First one here on Twinkle Circuit is going to be track skip. So once you've grabbed a decent amount of rings here, you have the speed. You're going to bounce off the left-hand side here. Nice sharp turn. Lands on the bottom of the hill, and it takes you around there. So this skips a large slow section where you're doing an entire circle but slowly moving down.
Yeah,
so that is the easy
it's important to get a lot of rings, but not too many actually. If you get too many, then that can also mess up the stuff you're supposed to do.
Yeah, the way the carts work here is that their maximum speed is determined by the amount of rings that you have. Each runner has their own preference on the amount of rings that they would want to take when they do the track skip there. Because obviously the faster you're going, the sharper your turn has to be, and there are times where you can overshoot it. The boxes that you pick up are random, so you can get 20, 20, and then 5, or you can get 1, 1, and 1. But it's up to the players to decide how they want to do that. So Dage coming for the second skip. He timed it perfectly, where he did a homing attack to avoid going into the train. That skips the entire train section coming around into Twinkle Park. He then does a spin dash jump to clear the gap, and then using the slant of the roof, does a spin dash jump and navigates right up the top to where the capsule is. Significantly harder than it looks to do those jumps, but he makes it look easy.
Yeah, that spin dash jump, when we did the Sonic Community Race, I was considering doing that skip, but instead I just did a different version where you actually ride the roller coaster and is much slower, just because of those spin dash jumps.
There are a number of different routes through Twinkle Park. You take the one that you're most comfortable with doing for it. Like, you don't even have to go for the big jump that he did. There are other smaller jumps that you can take, and it's fantastic. But Dage here, you can see that he entered into Speed Highway going through Knuckles' entrance, as he can clip through the walls and the loading zone is still there. And then through Speed Highway itself, it's a case of standard routes be damned, because we can go on top of the buildings. There are lives up there that is intended. You are able to go that section. But from the top there, it's a nice slant that will allow you to do spin dash jumps over the gaps and just straight through the levels.
And you saw him get speed shoes there. They do actually speed up this section going down the building. And if you're wondering how he's getting through all the little barriers, he's just chaining spin dashes. You clip right through them if you spin dash.
Hitboxes be damned. And then again, the final by Dawn Act 3 there, just casually clipping through the buildings because they didn't make hitboxes that high.
And Nick coming up on the big skip here.
Yep, managed to get the homing attack, got the spin dash hover over onto the purple roof. Can he get from the purple roof up to the red one? Yep, and then from the red one straight over into the capsule. So a really smooth stage there. So Dage there doing a little clip in Station Square to get into the train station earlier. The train station is actually locked. You're meant to go back down into the casino area and access it from there. Don't have to do that. You can just clip through the front door and just be under it. So we're going to grab the light speed attack. This is the only time where we actually need it. However, we can use it to speed up Chaos 6 as well. And as I said before, the only reason that is required is because Red Mountain's loading trigger is tied to that monkey. So he's going for the massive jumps here. You can see the angles and the jumps that he's getting on Red Mountain to ascend that first area. Those are insane to pull off. It's just nuts what he's pulling off with them.
They don't even save as much time as you might think. He's just pushed this game so far that he does them.
Oh yeah, no, these two runners, they have pushed this down to ridiculous levels and going for them. And it's like any singular mistake on these will just cost them more time than it was worth even going for if they were doing some of the more marathon safe strats. So just casually trying to turn this, casually trying to take this floating. Oh, he's not getting much luck with it. He doesn't have any rings though, so what's he going to go for? There we go, he finally got a jump there. You can use those platforms that are floating in lava there, turn them into, basically angle them into the proper slope that you want, and just do slope jumps from them. Unfortunately, Dage getting a little bit unlucky, not getting enough height from the angle, and eating some of the lava.
Simultaneous level clears, though.
Indeed. So now Dage is going back into Sky Chase again. This time, until Tails actually transforms the ship, we're not doing too much at the moment. We've just got to, once again, you can shoot things or you can just sit in the corner, but there is a boss fight at the end of this one, so you can't full AFK it.
Yeah, a reminder that Nick has about a 30-second or so delay on his stream, so he is actually closer to Dage than it appears. Runners in the air are closer than they appear.
Did you just say runners and beer?
Mirror, like, you know.
Oh,
You
right.
see
Okay.
on
I don't know
Mirror?
why I heard beer.
I heard beer too. It's okay, but that just might
I
be
could
wishful
go-
thinking on my end.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could go for a beer right now, but whatever.
Wait,
Instead,
the same technique. Oh, fantastic extension on that man in there. Like both of them managing to get it. It's just nuts.
instead, I have a nice bottle of Coca-Cola chilling in the fridge, waiting for me.
Pepsi Man.
Pep, pep.
Pepsi for TV game. Unfortunately, Niczur there taking a death, having to restart. He tried the spin dash jump, but the game ate his jump. He didn't have a jump there, so instead he just got the spin dash, and the angle was pushing him down. So he has to take a quick restart to the checkpoint. Unlike Sonic Adventure 2, if you restart in this game, it does restart you at the last checkpoint that you hit. So that's all well and good. And then fire hitboxes, they just don't exist if you're at the far side of them for some reason.
Nick catching up a bit with that nice performance in Red Mountain 2. That was an excellent time.
So now both guys are on Sky Chase, so yeah, I'm just, We're leaving the mid-game and we're heading into the late game. Probably the 3 hardest levels in the game, if I'm being really honest, when it comes to the speedrun. Each of them are all significantly longer than the ones at the start here, but they're also filled with more difficult clips and tricks to do.
Yeah, there's some pretty difficult tricks in these last 3 levels. Opportunities to soft lock. All sorts of things can happen here, so be ready.
Hopefully both guys here do not run into that and we'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely would prefer to not see any soft locks.
So we've got Dage at the boss now. So what he's going to do is he's going to lock onto all the missile launchers and then put the target reticle in the middle there and just fire towards the big cannon. You've got to wait till he's about half health and you can stop firing because you've actually fired enough bullets that it's going to blow up anyway. And that finishes. So now cutscene of the crash landing, Tails going, wow. So unfortunately, we've got a little cutscene coming up here. Now this gorgeously 3D rendered cutscene is actually in-game. If you press start to skip it, you just pause the game. It's not actually skippable for some reason. Not entirely sure why they decided to do that. But Dage's going to have to be just a little bit careful here. It's the cutscene telling you about Skydeck. If you enter that too quickly, you will soft lock at the end because the little egg lift that you want to use just will not spawn. He had a little bit of a delay there, so he should be fine as he's coming in. And now it's a case of a well-placed spin dash jumps just to navigate through Act 1 here. Using the hover frames to maintain in the air long enough just to go straight into the homing attacks without having to hit the ground with the checkpoint. The bomb blows up the enemies, and then just a number of spin dashes, hopefully going to hit the checkpoint. Nope, taking the risky strats, not going for the checkpoint. And then nobody does monkey bars now. But this is the hardest jump here. Once you're up the cylinder, you want to do a spin dash jump straight over, or even a spin dash hover to where the cannon is. Very smooth, Act 1. So Act 2, you're up against the wind here. If you go fast enough here, you want to be really careful. Dage, unfortunately, getting unlucky. The light speed attack orbs that are there while you're charging actually have their own hitboxes, and they can blow up a number of the turrets and that are here. If they do decide to do that, it counts as you hitting them, and you lose all momentum. But good recovery and getting straight into Act 3. So Act 3
and
here,
fast
he is going...
missile there too.
He did, yeah. So Act 3, is he going to hit the capsule? There you go.
He did.
So before the
Nicely
gravity
done.
changes, hits the gravity. Sorry, hits the capsule before the gravity changes, finishing the level in a couple of seconds instead of having to redo the button. Getting the cutscene to say that his platform is there, so no soft lock on Dage's end.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad soft lock if you get it.
Yeah. So again, character fight. Just make sure you don't hit the characters too quickly, otherwise you give them phantom hits. And then we are going to head over to Chaos 6 after we transform the ship back to its normal form. Dage's just going to do the captain clip. He's going to head up the top and then on the seam again, just jump straight into the captain's room. Switching into free camera at this point. So one is transforming the ship and the other one is having the ship being transformed.
I do like some of the, even if it's not real synchronicity, especially because of the screen delay, I do kind of like that. We've had a few of those moments here.
It's really good, yeah. So Chaos 6 coming up here technically takes 4 hits to kill, but because we have the light speed attack, what we're going to do is we're going to freeze him, and we're going to charge a light speed attack, and a light speed attack will do 2 points of damage each time, so we're only going to need to do that twice. So we're just going to wait for Mr. Eggman to drop down the freezy button for us, pick up the button, toss it in his face. Move away from Chaos as you're charging, because again, if you accidentally hit him with the light speed attack orbs, it will count as a hit, and you'll have to freeze him again. So now after this, Dage is going to head towards Lost World. So Lost World here, one of the harder stages in the game in my opinion. Let's see how well he gets through the Fire Cave. Fire Cave can be very mean. It can just put the panels in the way, fill them with fire, so you're going to take some damage. Nice spin dash straight down there. Great dodging from side to side, managing to get through that with no problem whatsoever. Next up, he's going to go for Snake Skip, where he's going to spin dash right towards the snake, get the proper angle, charge the spin dash, and get enough speed to get up the top. Pause phase a spin dash through that door, because for whatever reason, that particular door, when you pause the game, does not have a solid hitbox. So if you charge a spin dash and then unpause the game and release the spin dash, you end up going straight through it and not having to do the puzzle. It is fantastic. He was then going to go for Waterfall Skip. Unfortunately, Waterfall Skip is fraught with kill planes, and he just hit one there. Now, also in the room there, his jump buttons are being eaten. They're eating his inputs now.
So, if we account for screen delay, this is pretty close now, I would say.
I believe so. But there we go.
He's picking the waterfall now.
Yeah, I gotta take the water. He did try the skip. You gotta give him kudos for it, but it is definitely one of the harder tricks in the game there. And you saw what happens, what failing is. Failing just means you're taking a death. He knew the moment the kill plane hit him, it's just, nah, I gotta restart. So smooth boulder chase there, heading through into the treasure hunting area. It's gonna activate the panel twice to get the gravity, and then do a nice big spin dash jump, and then unfortunately clipping through the platform, which is not great. Gonna go for it a second time. Nice, setting up for the backup section. Jumping over and then into the chaos room and finishing the level.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways to do many of these things, and it's just a matter of how much risk reward there is for each of them, how many times he's going to be willing to attempt them. You got the puzzle.
Yay! Hardest puzzle in the game. Jeez, man. Nah, so final egg here, we have got a number of skips that we're going to be doing here. Just casually going to ignore the entirety of Act 2 and Act 3. Act 1 is just precise spin dashing, making sure that you're continuously moving at a high speed. These loops can be really, really annoying. If they want to throw you, they will. Act 2, we're just going to turn around, and we are going to, unfortunately, get caught by the ramp there. But once we got caught by the ramp, we're just going to fall out backwards, fall through the void, land halfway down. Ooh, Dage getting a wonky camera there, but nice recovery. And then falling straight down towards Act 3. Act 3, going to just miss this, get the time for the pause, do a restart so you end up inside the capsule. Aiming, he's doing a number of restarts here because he's trying to clip out immediately. Going for the quick strat, and then hopefully turn himself correctly down towards where the capsule is, and
Nice.
Finishing the stage. Really, really good one.
And Nick
Now Egg
looks
Viper.
like Nick got the waterfall skip, so that's catching him up a little bit more. He's still behind even with stream delay, but if something bad happens to Dage in this boss fight, which is possible, the game's mechanics, while any runner learns to deal with them, they are not perfect. That could really change things.
No, definitely. So Dage, he may have to be close when he's doing this one. He'll have to make sure that he takes his time, because you can die on this, and if you die on this, it's a hefty time loss. But the idea here is go for early hits by doing the spin dash jumps once he is vulnerable to attacks. You can only do this for the 3 hits though. The second 3 hits are where he gets to have fun with the Beyblades.
Were Beyblades even a thing when this game came out? I honestly
I have
don't
no
know.
idea, but they look like Beyblades, so I'm just going with
They
Beyblades.
do.
So again, just dodging the get a load of this lasers, because everybody loves the get a load of this.
Get a load of
Beyblades.
this!
There you go. So going for the quick hit on the first 2. He's not gonna get away with this.
All systems, full power!
Yeah, so he's now destroying the platforms as we go. So the second hit here, taking it dangerously, because if he misses that, he will fall down to his death. And then for the final one, you have to wait, because if you hit the boss, you lose control of Sonic until you hit the ground. So wait until over the platform, and then this is potentially time coming up for Dage.
Yep, just has to not pull a me, because I had that happen like 3 times in the aforementioned community race. And he's good. He's in there. Just waiting
And
on
sorted.
the... there it is. That was a really solid run from Dage.
Yeah, there they go. And now we just got Niczur doing the final boss himself. But now there we go. We're just gonna wait for these hits to come off here. I believe we're gonna let them finish because he's super close to finishing the run here. So I believe
Yeah.
that is another win to Team Sonic. So that's pulling it back. It's 3-4.
Yeah, we're within 1 now. We have a relay race again every